inventories. That is 20%. Then fixed assets we have as 25%. And liabilities we have as 4%. And these are all of sales. So I'll just note that here, of sales. And I'll just copy those. All right, let's use those numbers. We have 1% times sales of 2,200. For accounts receivable, same thing. We'd take the percent times the sales. For inventory, we take 20% of sales. That gives us, if we sum it, our total current assets. Next, we have fixed assets, which is 25% of sales. And the total assets then are current plus non-current, 1320. Liabilities, guess what? Percent of sales. What percent? 4%. And next is we have a line of credit. If we need money, we don't know anything about that yet, so we just leave that be. Total current liabilities are payables plus line of credit. The long-term debt is no change. We're given that, and we're not allowed to sell more stock or issue more bonds. Retained earnings is last year's retained earnings plus this year's change in retained earnings, which we just figured out above, which is 53. Now we say, well, what is our total assets? 1320. And what is our total liabilities? 1261. Oops, we have a problem. So if we take total assets minus the total liabilities, it should be 0, but it's actually 59. So 59 means that we have more assets than we have liabilities, which means what? We need to borrow money. And that means this number, which we kind of left alone, if we now input the number we know to be our need, we put in 59, and what happens is now it equals 0. So that's how we use the balance sheet. We forecast the items we know, we implement the policies that we were given, and then we see if it balances. And if it doesn't, then we do something accordingly. In this case, we had more assets than liabilities and equity, so we had to borrow money. We have to add to the bottom by the amount of $59, and that makes the whole balance sheet balance. Well, what does that tell you? We just figured out AFN. The AFN is 59, and the way we're going to raise the 59 by the assumption is we're going to add to our line of credit and borrow money.